So our story really starts after we got married. We went to the Bahamas for our honeymoon, had an amazing time, came home, and just like a lot of people, tried to settle into life and all the new challenges, the exciting challenges of being married. One of the things that really became apparent early on was that we had a lot of debt. And so we really just got serious about how do we get rid of that debt and change our financial life.
Yeah, so what happened was we went on a date night on a Friday night, and we went to a bookstore, went to Full Circle Books, and we were looking around, looking at different ideas. We talked about a tiny home, what would that take, like what was that journey of simplicity like, and I jokingly said, hey, we could live in a camper.
You know, we just really decided that, you know, for us, money wasn't going to be an issue. Even though we had simple jobs, like we weren't making a lot of money. We just knew that if we managed our money correctly and got rid of our debt, we'd be better off. And so that's really when the journey started of this living in the camper, minimizing our lives and trying to take our finances more seriously.
Yeah. So we did live in the camper for about 11 months. I will say that when we decided to do this, it was very stressful because we had to get rid of a lot of things. So we sold a lot of our belongings. We just really made a commitment to give up a lot of things and simplify our lives. And so we did that. We moved out to the camper. We lived there. There was a lot of hard situations that took place, but it was also some of the most peaceful moments of our lives that we got to experience together. And in the end, we paid off our debt, and we had a celebratory dinner, and we got an appetizer, a main dish, and dessert at dinner just to celebrate like our accomplishments. It was really great.
Once we decided that we were going to buy this camper and start this whole new journey, one of the things that kept coming up was just this idea of going against the grain. This time in our life, you know, people graduate college, they get married, they have kids, they get a house, and that's just the American dream. And so I think we're all susceptible to that. It's not bad, but there are some real consequences that come with not understanding that direction. And so, you know, oftentimes we buy houses, we buy new cars to, you know, fill this gap in our life, and it ends up not doing that. You know, we really had to grow closer to each other and just figure out what life looked like to have 2 plates, 2 mugs, and a handful of clothes in our closet. And so, you know, we learned a lot. We grew pretty appreciative of the things that we did have, just simple things like, you know, being able to take a shower every day. You know, a lot of people around the world can't do that or have clean drinking water. And so we just went back to this idea that we're extremely blessed and that we have a lot to be thankful for.
You know, God calls us to a life of contentment, that we are to be content with the things that He has for us. And I think that people often overcomplicate this, and they tell us that we need a new phone, we need a new car, we need these things to make us happy. And then you find when you get that new phone and you get that new car, you still have these feelings of discontentment. And so through that, you know, we really learned to seek Him in everything that we were doing, in downsizing, in making this decision that not a lot of people were making. And so we grew together as a couple. We grew in our faith because we realized that, you know, not a lot of people have even this. A lot of people don't even have these 4 walls of a camper to live in. And so we just found that really enlightening. And since then, we know now that like living simply is so much better than choosing other things. And I will say that like we still face that temptation to be desiring material things, and you know, we just have to kind of shut that off and ask that the Lord be with us and help us remember that time that we had for those 11 months being in a camper. We, through that journey, decided that we wanted to help other people that were facing that same thing, because, you know, when we first got married, we had a lot of arguments and discussion about finances. And so once we were able to take that away and work together and really push towards our goal together to be financially free, we saw that it was very beneficial for us. So we made this decision to start a business and our business is called Free Up. The whole purpose of it is to really help people just like us that are in a situation with money, whether that's, they have a lot of debt, or they're wanting to invest, they're wanting to buy a house. Like, we want to help people that are just like us.
One of the things we really believe is that money should free you up to do more of what you want to do and what God is calling you to do in your life. And so that was a big reason why we originally went on this journey, is because we felt like God was calling us to bigger things, and debt was holding us back. And so that's kind of where the name Free Up comes from. And so freedom has just always been this root driver for what we see in what's holding people back. And so money holds people back. And so freedom has just been this idea that we've held on to and tried to not only realize for ourselves how we can become more free to do what God has called us to do, but help others do the same.